we have the next set of speakers coming in for the next session, Anish and Praveen. I hope both of you are there. Maybe you can just say hi.
Hello,
Anish,
hello
Praveen,
everyone.
hello. Hi both. Welcome to ATA GTR 2021, both of you. And then let me quickly introduce you and then I can hand it over to you. Yeah, so Anish is an experienced Scrum Master, senior quality analyst with excellent domain knowledge in healthcare and travel industry. I think Amadeus is all about that only. And
Yes.
Praveen is sorry to say, Praveen is a senior member technical staff at Amadeus Lab. They both are techno-functional consultants. That's what I can get to see from their LinkedIn profiles. And today they are going to speak on the topic break the ENIGMA for better customer experience. Yeah, so we would like to hear on this topic from both of you. Over to you, Anish and Praveen.
Okay, let me share my screen. Is my screen is visible?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So first of all, thank you so much. Thank you ATG GTR for giving this wonderful opportunity to present in this esteemed forum, and happy to be part of this community where learning and mastering doesn't fade away. So today we are going to talk about break the enigma for better customer experience. Myself, Anish, along with Praveen, we're going to talk about how, as a QA, being a mystery breaker for good quality to deliver the product with good quality and better customer experience. So with that, if you guys know him, he is Alan Turing. He is the man who is called as the father of artificial intelligence, who has been an inspiration and helped us to create a blueprint to this topic. I mean, like we picked up one topic and we created a blueprint out of it. And moreover, I just want to say that I'm a movie freak. And thanks to the the directors who created the movie, The Imitation Game. So that sparked an idea for us to create this topic. So going forward with that. So I know it's a series of numbers which you find in your mind. What comes into your mind when you see a huge number like this? Any comments in the chat box? If you are the one who is good at max, because I'm not, so you can guess this number. I mean, like you can say how much is how much. I mean, like how do you name this number? I mean, like it's millions or thousands or whatever it is. I can wait for around like 10 seconds to see any reply from you guys if you guys are interested in having a quest. I hope you guys are not Googling it as well. So hope I
So
didn't give a
participants need to understand and then they just need to guess what is this number, right? And they need
correct,
to put it
correct,
under the
correct.
chat.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. If you are good at ones and tens, which you have studied in your max in the previous, I mean, like in your schooling and everything, you can try it out. Trust me, I Googled it actually. All right. Okay, to answer to this, maybe I'll give you in the next couple of slides. Okay. So to start with, so the since I have given you a highlight about like how I'm going to talk about Alan Turing and the imitation game. So here we're going to have a story and an illustration from the story, and how do we understand to give a better customer experience from it. And so let's sit back and eat our popcorn and guess this story time. So let's get back to the history of the previous era, the World War II. So in 1948, Germans used the U-boats to destroy the food and artillery supplies of British from the Allies. The German troops were sending messages in radio signals by Morse code. The messages were ciphers and it was insane and it was not able to, it's not understandable. So with the help of Poland's intelligence, British got the Honor device, the Enigma, the device which has three rotors and with 26 letters each, and enormous combination of data. So Germans felt that it is strong and no one can break this code, because every day a new code will be generated and the configuration of the Enigma changes every day as well. So to solve this, Britain created a group of mathematicians and scholars from Cambridge to solve the Enigma, along with Alan Turing, who created a machine called as bomb. So um, he imitated the possible words like "Hail Hitler" or "Weather at 6 a.m." And with the help of Turing's machine, they were able to crack this Enigma. So this is the whole story about what the Enigma is about. And if you come back to the same question which I have asked you earlier, well, it's the number of combinations which you get out of an Enigma machine. So if I want to say, it is like 158,962 quadrillion,
Oh my God, that's right.
155
I saw it
trillion,
on your uniform.
217 billion and 826 million and 360,000 combinations which we get from one Enigma machine. So that's huge. Well, that's the outcome of the story which we have. So what we have from the takeaway of the story is like, Germans built the Enigma, so they thought it was unbreakable. So it had so many combinations of possibilities, and British built a machine to decode it, and they imitated the common phrases like "Hail Hitler" and "Weather at 6 a.m." is. And Turing used his machine, the bomb, to decode the ciphers. Due to this, perpetually the British intelligence worked on this to decode the messages. And ironically, it reduced the duration of the World War II. So this is the history about what happened in the previous era. So let's try to now let's get back to our era. So how we are going to relate Alan Turing's ideology to break the enigma of the current era for a better customer experience. So here we may have a lot of use cases in our own period. I mean, like, so what we thought was like we can get a use case which is easy for persons to understand and quickly understand the concept of it. So let's assume that it's a resume management system where let's take a simple use case of resume management. Let's say like each candidate is sending his resume to a HR system, and the HR orchestra, passes the information from the resume, the document which they have, and they try to put it into the HR system, and where they try to schedule interviews with the specific keywords. They try to they find that it is the best fit for that particular roles and responsibilities. So they try to create a schedule and an interview point, and the onboarding process is happening on that. So here now we identify the scenario. So let's try the scenario which a normal tester would test this. So our main use case is here is like, how do you test a resume management system? So on the left hand side, the blue side, you can see the tester scenario. On the right side is the production data which we get. So the logical side, we have so many scenarios, but let's try to narrow it down to a file format. So if you see that the file formats here, which we have mentioned, usually a tester would be like a PDF, a Word, a file cell comparison, or an image content which has in the Word, and a spam file which is having a huge file which we have. So now we have, but when on the right hand side you see that what we get in the is huge. I mean, like if you see that there are too many of them. So when you see that we have scanned images, text, header and footer in the PDF. Only in one condition itself, we are having so many use cases. So if you see that when it comes to the real world, I mean, it's gonna suck, but we're gonna love it. So that's how the production data is there for our product. So this has become a problem statement where the enigma, which is a mystery which can't be solved. So that how do we solve this kind of enigma to get a better customer experience? So I would like to share. I would like to give the floor to Praveen, who can talk about how to imitate this part. So right now we have found the enigma. So now we are going to try to solve this enigma. So over to you, Praveen.
Thank you, Anish. So now we are going to see how to imitate the Enigma. So there are five steps are there in the to imitate the Enigma. The first step is identify. So when we take a input data, so we have to identify the attributes of the input data. So when we identify the attributes of first we have to identify the attributes, then we have to create a function to extract those attributes. So maybe small functions and methods we can write to extract those attributes. Once we created those functions, then we have to execute it. So when we are trying to execute it, so when we try, we will get a live data. So when we try to execute this function in the live, we will have so much of information for each and every input file. So using that, we should be able to create a use cases. So with the combination of these attributes, we can create a huge number of use cases. That is actually live use cases which we get. And it's not only just a use cases, we get a test data as well. So use cases with the test data is like a dream of a tester, I would say. So, and using this test data, we can validate the test phase and improve our product very well. So if we follow these five steps, we will be able to easily imitate the Enigma, and we can break it and we'll have a customer experience. Now, I would like to take you through some example. For example, let's take a file as an example. So if we take a file, let's consider three attributes: submission date and format and size. Let's take one. So if you go and collect this data, live data information for these three attributes, we'll have so many number of informations we'll get it collected from the production. For example, if we take a submit date, we'll have a month, hours, and a date and a year, everything will get it. When it comes to format, we might be designing for some certain format, but when live, we might get a multiple format in Microsoft Word and open document format and rich text and PDF, HTML and images in PDF with images, PDF with text. There are multiple combination of formats we may get in. Then when we go for sizing, it might vary from 100 KB to 10 MB. So if you take each and every attribute, every attribute is producing so many number of data in the live. Would you please go to the next slide? So using these attributes and using this data, we can create a combinations of automatically we can create the use cases with the unique combinations. Here we have given some of the examples. So with the three attributes, we are creating multiple number of combinations of the unique use cases we are finding. And the best part is all the use cases is comes with the test data. So we have test cases, we have a unique combinations of use cases, and that is the best part about it. Once we have these unique use cases, we can we can use it for two purposes. One is to improve the regression testing or strengthening our product, and we can use in the test phase. And second one is if it is a completely new use cases which we never came across, and which while having the requirement of product, we can also use it for the improvement of the product as well. So that also helps. So this is a better way to auto generate the use cases with the unique combinations. Would you please go to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So here we are trying to compare the both the World War II era and the current software industry. So when we try to compare these two eras, how we can correlate with the imitation game. So there it is a Enigma with the communication messages. That was the Enigma. But here it is a like number of possibility of data which we get it from the users. Sometimes the requirement might say something, but finally we might get something else. And then we'll have a common phrases like Hail Hitler and whether at 6 p.m. or something. Will There we have common phrases like Hail Hitler and weather at 6 a.m. Here we might get keywords and patterns in the data. So that are the common phrases we find out. We might find a lot of patterns as well. And there it was the bomb that is a machine which was built. Here we are configuring to get the data. There we were decoding the messages. Here we are maintaining the regression set and maybe the product evolutions we are trying to do. There the bomb machine which helped to reduce the duration of the World War II. Here we are trying to reduce the maintenance of the product and better customer experience. That is what we are trying to do. So that is a World War II era and the comparing with our current era. Here we have listed a few benefits of the imitation game. The one is it will increases the ready to market because we constantly improving our product and qualities keep improving, and it will increase the ready to, for example, if any new feature is added or it is getting matured, everything is immediately it is available to the market, which will help us to, which will help the product and the customers as well. Then we can regularly track the KPI and data analytics. This is one of the best, very important part because these KPIs and data analytics, which will help us to understand the product and how it is performing and what needs to be done. This data analytics, which will really one of the major point is security. We might develop a product, and when we go into the production, we might see the security threats and the hackers and somebody's trying to block our system. There are multiple things, security issues might happen. So this will help us to prevent like how what is happening in the production live. When we know it, we will be able to do it better. For example, some person might be sending the same kind of input data thousands of times. Then that is a security threat. And huge number of files they are trying to send, which will break our RAM, or it will break our application. It might. So those things. So the security issues, vulnerability, and somebody's trying to send a script which will we will try to execute might cause an issue. So those kind of security threat also we'll be able to identify. And by default, it's less maintenance because we constantly understanding the customer and checking and improving the product. That will help us to less maintenance. Then the quality and stability by default it will come, because when we take care about when we know the customers what they're sending and what they're expecting, then automatically our product quality and the stability will improve, and we will have a very good classification of the data. So this is not about the classification of the particular use case is something, but understand whether how many whether are we getting any duplication data, or are we getting any junk data, and whether can we ignore those things and how to handle those kind of use cases. And because mostly we might think about the positive cases, but these are some negative cases also come. If so many number of duplication comes, how to handle those things. And junk data, whether to stop it in the first level so that it doesn't process go further and waste our process or application effectiveness. So those things it will help us to think and what kind of junk data can come, what kind of duplication data can come. So those also will help. So these are the few benefits of the imitation game. So here is our few takeaway from this session. First is Enigma. How to solve the mystery. When we solve the mystery is our data, which we are lagging. So once we have when we know what is the data which we are getting, then we are very closer to the customer. That is the best part. So by understanding the pattern and keywords, we will be able to achieve. So for that, we have to create small functions to understand the we have to understand the attributes of the input data and extract the data. So once we extract the data, we'll be able to create the patterns, and with the keywords, we will be able to solve the mystery. Once we solve the mystery, we are very closer to customer. That would be a better way to handle it. Then how to imitate. So like I explained, we can create small functions of the attributes, and which will help us to understand the customer, and we can handle it better. Then once we have the regression data, and we will be able to do the test driven development approach. So that will help us to for the very quality product we will be able to generate, which will reduce the maintenance as well. And yearly identification of the customer experience is the best one of the best way to of a reactive approach. So because we were trying to do best in the proactive way, but sometimes when the input is huge, and when the customer range is huge, and end customer the number of customers are very high, then sometimes we may not be able to do it. But in those cases, early identification is always best. We don't need to wait for customer to come and complain saying like there are issues. Once we identify the early issues, we'll be able to handle it better way, and quickly um, fix the issues, or improve the product, or enhance the product, or make a new product evolution. So when we start doing these things, and will bring very closer to customer experience. For example, we might be focusing on multiple formats, but in the live we might get some few one, but with formats with a huge number of variation. In that case, we should focus on those use cases which will help us to have a very good customer experience. That is very important. We might think wide, and we might try to do many things, but what actually customer experience might be little different, or very focused as well. So that we should be when we try to understand and take the data and analyze those things, and we'll be able to do it. And we would strongly recommend to do the automation, automated of the use case generation, not manually. We don't go for the take the data and dump it in Excel and try to do what is happening. Don't do manual. We recommend you to create automatically creating that use cases, and we by default the test case also will be available, and that will help you to understand the product, and improve the system as well by testing using those data. That's what we strongly recommend. And next slide.
Right. So that's about me. You can feel free to contact me if you. I have my LinkedIn profile. So I'm a certified Scrum Master. As Rituraj has already said, I have been working as a senior QA and as well as in healthcare, travel, and learning management. And one more information to add on: I'm a proud volunteer as well. I spend most of my weekends doing something back to the society. That's me, Anish, and Praveen, over to you.
Thank you, Anish. So I started my career with ISRO. So there I was working with the meteorological department to create weather to create software for a weather radar, which was launch which was deployed in the ISRO's site, Sriharikota. And then I moved to the finance domain, where I was working on some automations. Then I was working with the Cisco in the video technology one. Now I'm with Amadeus, which is a travel domain. So I have experience of different domains and challenges. So that's about me. And currently I'm working as a senior technical lead cum architect in the Amadeus. That's about me. I have you can always reach out us, and we'll be happy to help on our thoughts and what we experience, and which we found huge success of better customer experience. That is what we are coming and sharing with us. And if you have more questions, you please share it with us, and you can always reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you as well. And I take this moment to thank entire GDR 2021 teams and volunteers. They are extremely good, and they are very nice. They are well organized and well planned and well communicated as well. So we take this opportunity to thank the entire team. It was a fantastic show and the event. There are a lot of hot topics, and I hope everybody's enjoy the entire the event. And thank you so much for joining our session as well. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Once again, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anish. Thank you, Praveen. It feels really blessed as well as immense pleasure to have someone who has already represented ISRO in his career before. And then, yeah, we are feeling blessed to have you with us, Praveen, because nation comes first always, right? Yeah.
Thank you,
So
my pleasure.
wonderful session. The flow of the contents and then the I'm not sure like whether I should call it as a framework or not, but then we should call it as because you have developed your own style to improve the overall customer experience. And then I do have one question for you. We still have 4 minutes to jump into the next session. So the question is like, since you belong to Amadeus, we have heard things from Arun and Viresh in past conferences, like how the challenging times were there for the organization, especially in the pandemic times where the aviation industry and then travel, tourism, hospitality industry got badly impacted because of this pandemic. So, considering this particular aspect, would you like to share something like this particular approach of customer experience, how it has helped you on a real ground to improve the overall customer experience, and what are the outcomes of this particular experimentation using this approach so far?
Anish, shall
Praveen?
I? Yes,
Yes, please go
I
ahead,
will
Praveen. Yeah.
answer. Yes, thank you. So what we have done is we are having yes, it's during pandemic time the traffic was very low. Yes, you are right. But what we have focused on is we were having huge number of data in the history as well, and understand to understand the product we try to analyze the we created small functions and to because we were having a lot of surprises as well. When customer is reported, then we go and look at the issues and react to them. That was quite late, and sometimes customers were struggling to they don't know. Sometimes if it is an app, like you go and help the help. Sometimes you can call the customer care and do it. Sometimes the people might be lazy and they say like they'll say like no, this system is not good. They may not reach out us with the feedback. So that is also cases. So we don't wanted to feel we don't wanted to have the gap. We wanted to make sure that even though the people who gives the feedback, we take it, and people who doesn't feel give the feedback but still they are not comfortable with the product, we wanted to consider that. That is why we thought like how we can go nearer to the customers, even whether they are reporting or not, that is a secondary, but still we wanted to serve all the customers. So we try to understand what is our input data, and when we take this one, we had the security part what I covered. That's one of the things we discovered. We have some mailing system, and some customers they were trying to send huge number of data. That is like hackers. We found some security leaks as well, and we found out what kind of information customer trying to, for example, if they're trying to book some travels, and what kind of information they are looking for it, what we are lacking, because there are some back and forth informations are happening with the travel agent and the customers. So they send some data, then they will ask for more data. So then there are more communication channel, and more discussions are happening, and that was delaying it. And customers sometimes they get irritated, why you didn't ask first. So sometimes those kind of things also. So when we understand what customer is giving and what system is expecting, when we understand it, we are trying to improve the product and make the informations are very clearer to the customer, so that they also give the right informations and valid information, which would easy their job and to the product as well. So it is like in multiple aspects. It's not only we can't say like just one product, but once one product we tried it, and we are trying to share this experience with the other products as well. So one is waiting for the customer feedback, but we don't we want customer feedback, but we don't want it to wait till the end. We want to react fast if something is not going well as expected. So that is where this idea came, and we tried and we got a huge number of response. And now the traffic, because the pandemic is almost ending and the traffic is booming, especially this Christmas season, we got a huge number of bookings for the Christmas vacations and all. So whatever we tried, and we could see that it is going really well. And especially there are new lot of rules were introduced, so we were able to quickly respond in agile way and able to make the customers happy.
Yeah,
Very well
just
said.
to add on,
Yeah.
with that,
Yeah.
it's like a bamboo shoot growing. So we were patient enough in the pandemic, and then we shooted back. We can say it as an illustration like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is like a real tough time where the way of working and then your thinking, the mindset, as well as the experimentation way of looking at the things, using some pilot products,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, the management is really supportive here in this factor, Rituraj. That I mean, like the stronghold which we have is pretty good. So I mean, like we have good leaders, we can say, who support us and guide us through. So yeah, that's the key point over here. Yeah.
True. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's an examination. It was an examination. I don't know what the new variant is going to do with all of us, but let's
Yeah.
hope for the best. And then, yeah, I think it was a wonderful session to have you also. It was an immense pleasure for all of us. And yes, thanks for sharing those wonderful insights. We really like the session. You can see the feedback into the chat conversation. And thanks for being with us. Thank you, Anish. Thank you, Praveen, for today's session. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful day. Bye.